chicos and chicas, and welcome to Chit Chat Chicas.
Welcome to another podcast where today we're going to be talking about being an adult is realizing that farting in front of your partner is completely normal.
But yeah.
I mean, all jokes aside, we want to discuss some things that for sure as you grow up, you realize that it's normal or it's good for you, you know, that maybe when you were younger, you didn't realize. Or even, I would say nowadays, everything on social media is definitely romanticized or not romanticized. So then you are not sure about what's normal or not normal in the adult world. Being an adult is realizing that life is not going to be perfect 24/7.
Exactly.
You know, I feel like life is all about ups and downs. And without the downs, you will not appreciate the ups. So it's about being in the moment and appreciating every aspect to your life. I feel like for sure, like when you know, on social media, you might see people put the best parts of their life out there, and it makes you question your life in a moment where you might not be having the best time, or you might be sad, or maybe you're happy, but you haven't achieved certain things yet. And then you're like, oh, but what's wrong with me? Or I don't know, you know, you just start questioning yourself or questioning, I don't know, your luck, or questioning where you are in that moment. But I really feel like that's just not normal. Like what you see online is not the way life is 24/7. Life comes with all sorts of moments. You can be happy, you can be sad, you can be anxious, you can be stressed. And I feel like you should really just be in the moment and go through whatever you're feeling in that moment, and also appreciate whatever is happening, whether it's something good or something bad. Just appreciate it, because I feel like that's also who shapes you and makes you who you are.
Yeah, definitely. I feel you on the balance. Like I used to always just want the good moments, right? Like I never understood, why do I have to go through a teaching again? Like, why do I have to go through a down moment again? And it always makes sense at the end of the day. Like every time you pass that heavy period of your life, you come out and you realize that actually it makes sense. Like everything is connected. So
yeah.
I really feel like, but I'm sure I needed time for this. Like it didn't come when I was young. It took me some time until I realized, I feel.
Yeah, I feel like also, anyway, life it's a journey. We can learn at 20s, we can learn at 30s, we will learn at 80s as well. And whatever we're going through in life will also shape us as a person. And like through the ups and the downs and the in-between, we will realize who we are as a person and who we are when we are surrounded by the people we love, or like in an environment in general. So,
and even if you're not surrounded by the people you love, like you might have to go through being surrounded by people that don't care for you to then learn what you want around you.
Or just to appreciate the people who actually love you around you.
I also feel like sometimes when I'm in my really like down moments, it actually makes me realize that, okay, there is only up from here. Like there's, like it's exciting. Like from here, you can only go up and grow and like experience better things. So sometimes it's comforting to know that there is something on the other side.
Sometimes I will meet people that regret certain parts of their past. I mean, I get it. You wish it didn't happen to you, but at the same time, that moment shaped you into who you are today.
I think that the what if actually is our worst enemies, because it's always like, oh, but what if I did that and not that instead? What if this and what if that? Like, we always like, okay, the regret is something that we need to work on. Like, we need to stop dwelling on the past and be like, my God, I should have done that, or should have went that way, and etc. Yeah, the what if question, basically. And I think it's easy to say, it's hard to put it in application. I think everyone is human anyway, and everyone has those moments. But like you said, like, for example, when it comes to Dubai, I would have never in a billion years would have imagined myself being here, living in Dubai. And like my plan was after master to go in London. That was the plan. And then COVID happened, for example. And that was unexpected to come to Dubai and be there, now work. It's been 2 years, right? And I'm always like, but what if COVID never happened? What if I went to London? What if... And all of this, and even like being here on that podcast would have never happened. You know what I mean?
Everything.
So it's crazy. Like, okay, this is not the turn that we thought that we would take, right? But in the end of the day, all the positive that came out of it is just like,
It all makes sense.
yeah, it's crazy.
You can plan, but sometimes life just doesn't want you to be there where you want to be. So yeah, like you just have to go with the flow sometimes and just accept that maybe you might have some plans like to live in London, but if you're not meant to be there, then just go with it, like, and try to focus on the positive things, whatever you have in that moment. But at the same time, I don't know if you girls heard about toxic positivity. Like, there's another thing that I heard. That it's okay to be sad sometimes, or it's okay to not to be 100% okay with whatever you have around you, because
To cry.
it's okay to cry. Yes, like sometimes you just have to go through some emotions to again appreciate what you have, or sometimes these situations are pushing you into someone else, like you can be a better person just to go through with some things. So for me, it's really important to sometimes just feel that emotion that's there, and you don't have to push yourself like, okay, yeah, but I'm supposed to be happy right now. But what if you're not supposed to be happy? So
It's actually super funny because it reminds me of this cartoon In and Out, right?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
And on that show, the first one, so it was all the emotions were against the sadness. And at the end of the story, you learn that actually you need the sadness, because the sadness builds you. Like, without the sadness, you won't, I don't know how to explain, like go through something and then come out of it better. Like this, I mean,
There's always light at the end of the tunnel. Type of thing,
And it was so funny, like this cartoon like really shows how all the emotions are actually interconnected, and they all have to be together. It cannot be just happiness handling everything, or just like anger and stuff like every emotions are interconnected. And
you won't be able to appreciate it when you, I mean, I do feel like that, when you're blessed, you're just blessed, and you should realize it. But if you don't have those times of sadness, like, you wouldn't really appreciate it. You wouldn't feel happiness as the same as you do with it.
Yeah. Adding on to that, I feel like actually being an adult is realizing that crying is cool. Like, I love crying. Okay, I don't want to say I'm a crybaby and I'll cry for everything, but I feel like crying is a really great way of like releasing your emotions.
and sometimes you just need it.
You need it. Yeah.
Oh, I cry when I'm angry. Like, I cry like
When you have all this tension in your body, you just have to get going.
I actually feel bad for people that struggle to cry, because I do know that there's a lot of people that don't know how to release their emotions.
I'm not a
actually
crier.
like that.
I'm not a crier.
You never cry?
Like, sometimes I feel so like down, and I would be like, I just want to cry, and then I would feel better. But even if I like hurt myself, I cannot cry. Like sometimes,
That's so...
or sometimes I would just cry for no reason. Like last time when you're like, oh, I miss you. I was like,
But you can't like control it. You can't like sit there and be like, I'm gonna just release it.
I want to cry, but it's just not coming.
It comes at its own random time and rarely. Yeah. And for me, when I was actually like, I think I was like 13. I don't know. I used to live in Miami, and my mom, she didn't like, my parents. They raised me in like a very packed routine type of way. So every day I was doing something. I didn't have time barely to do anything else but my homework, go to school and dance. So by the end of the week, like every Friday on clock, even if I didn't think about it, I would just start crying because I was so overwhelmed with school, with dance, with my activities. I would just cry, but I wasn't even sad. I was just overwhelmed. You know what I mean? Like, obviously I was super grateful to be in a position to have activities and like be busy and stuff, but I was just overwhelmed. So every week, like clockwork, I would just cry, and my parents are like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, it's a crying session. I need to release so that I can do it again next week.
Yeah. No, I get you. I have problems with releasing my like tension that I have in my body as well. Like, I will not cry if I'm sad necessarily. I don't need to release that emotion in that way, but I do need with anger, with like frustration, when I'm just like pissed and when I want to move on something, and I just burst like I'm a ticking bomb then.
Being adult is realizing that English disconnected. Okay.
But English is it should
It's
not
hard.
be a language.
I will say something really like maybe serious, that you shouldn't be perfect, and you shouldn't always satisfy people you're surrounded with, especially your family. Just remember that your parents and your family, they are also living their first life, and they also have been a kids. So you need to be patient and just bring love.
I love this
Exactly.
thought. I mean, I sometimes when when you get frustrated at your parents,
Exactly.
and I'm like, but they are living life
Yeah,
first.
this is
They
their
make
first life.
mistakes.
Yeah.
My mom is such a crybaby. Like, I think all my tears went to her. And whenever she's a doctor, so she has a lots of emotions, right? She's so frustrated, and she started calling me like, I'm so tired, I don't want to work, la 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 la. And I was like, Mom, this is your first life. You are allowed to be weak. You are allowed to cry. You are allowed to be angry. Like, just remember that. And she'll be like, oh, you're so grown up.
You should be my mom.
Because sometimes, parents can also learn from their children.
Yeah.
Honestly, like,
Yeah, we are doing life in a different generation. This is what I was
Exactly.
thinking. Like the way they had to grow up, it's not the same as we had to grow up. Like the way we are like experiencing life is completely different from them. And I mean, all of us, but like even the generational difference. Like we are growing up with social media, they didn't. So it's really something that you will have different like learnings and teachings from
Exactly.
from this experience.
but I really agree with you, Anissa. Like, you don't have to be perfect. I learned that I don't want to be a people pleaser, and I don't care about other people's opinion. I used
That
to
is
care
good.
about it, like how I look like. Do I look like them? Do I look even better than them? And I remember when I was a teenager, I always wanted to be super skinny, super beautiful, and yeah, I was just stressing. But I was
get it.
stressing about it so much. Like at some point, I just couldn't sleep anymore because I was just overthinking all the time. And yeah, like who cares what people thinks about you? Honestly, like
Yeah, I agree. And actually, I kind of agree with you, but also I, in a way, disagree. I'll explain why. I'll explain why, but it will make sense and it will connect. So I feel like you shouldn't be perfect, but I also feel like this has been the wrong model for people. Like, oh, no one's perfect. But actually, what if you change that and you just accept that you're perfect the way that you are? You know, I feel like it's like pushed. Like, no one's perfect. Like, everybody's, I don't know, weak or different, but that's fine. But I feel like every part of you is perfect the way you are. Like, you are allowed to have your off days, but that doesn't make you imperfect. That makes you
Exactly.
perfect. I don't know how to explain that, but it's like
No, I agree.
You should be perfect for your own self.
Exactly.
Yes.
You know?
I cannot
And in
be
a way, like you said, like we were all like our body is this vessel that was created to be in this form of like
Yeah.
physical reality. So it wasn't made to look the same as yours or yours. It was
exactly.
made to, you know, like be here at the present moment. So the way you look, it's just an add-on. Like we cannot look the same, and we shouldn't as well. So
just
You
love
look
yourself.
perfect just the way you are. Everyone looks perfect the way they are. I think what really matters is just that you are a kind and good person.
my take on like being an adult and realizing is that your goals might not be the same as everybody else's, and that's okay. And just because your perfect life doesn't look like the other person's, it can still be your perfect life.
Yeah.
Like it goes with like if you don't want to study or if you want to study, it's fine. Like if you want to become a billionaire or you want a very easy, slow life, it's also fine. Like it doesn't have to, your dream life doesn't have to look the same, and your goals don't have to match other people's goals, and that's completely fine. Because I realized that at some point of my life, I was trying to reach things that I actually didn't want to reach. It was just like, not even society, but I think I convinced myself that, because everybody else is happy that way, I'm going to be happy that way as well. And then once I'm there, I'm like, oh, wait, actually, no. Like my happiness looks different. And
Yeah, that's so true, actually. Like some people think that they have to have a private jet to be happy or to feel rich. And what if I just need, I don't know,
a coffee in the morning.
Pad Thai in Thailand.
And both are fine, to be honest.
yeah.
Also, like, there is this society pressure that me, I don't like this. I mean, I used to be like this, the 5 years plan, the 10 years plan, but now that I'm an adult, this is bullshit.
You have a 1 day plan.
Yeah, I have a 1 minute plan even, you know? Like, it's so, no, honestly speaking, it's so pressurizing. Like, we tell our kids at 12, they have to figure out what they want to do for the rest of their life, what they want to study, which path they want to take. Actually, in high school, I don't know about you in your country, but in France, we already like have to choose between different major, and this major will kind of define what kind of life we want to.
At what age?
Yeah. So high school is at 16. I mean, I think high school. Yeah, lycée. I don't know how you say.
I think this is in every country, kind of.
it's
It's
different.
like
So you
when
have
go-
the scientist
Yeah.
course major, sorry. Then you have the literature,
And
then
math.
you have the economics and
Physics,
and stuff like that. So difference, right? And you already have to choose at 16, and so
I'm so different than when I was 16.
and it's pressurized. So basically, like in general, I feel like there is always like you have to make a choice. You have to choose because the path that you're choosing, then you have to go through that one and then just keep on. You know what I mean? And then after high school, you have to choose your university, and in a hurry, you have to choose which university you want, which degree,
Exactly.
which
Damn, you gotta get
license,
gray
which
hairs by the
master.
age of
Yeah.
18.
Exactly. You're 18 and
You have to make choices every time, and it's so pressurizing. And I know that some people are like, no, I'm just following my dream. I want to be a singer. I want to be an actor. I want to be a model, whatever. But like 90% of the population doesn't have that chance being like, oh, I want to be a footballer, so I'm going to be a footballer. I want to be this, so I want to be this. It's we go to high school, and then we make a choice, and then we go to university, and then we make another choice. And then it's choices and choices and choices, and it feels pressure.
Yeah.
And like, so for the 5 years plan, we're all like, okay, so we do the university, and then we're going to have that job, and then we're going to be that person, and then by 25 we're going to be married, and then by 28 we're going to have kids. I'm 28, I have nothing. All of this, you know, but I know like everyone has this, even I had that plan, right?
Yeah.
But like being an adult is realizing really that this 5 years plan or 10 years plan is bullshit.
I feel you. I didn't go to college or university, but my very first acting teacher made me do like a 5-year plan, and I was meant to be retired by 17, y'all. 5 years ago, I was meant to already be somewhere in a house chilling. But yeah, I think as well that adding on to that, being an adult is realizing that your path can change at any time, and that's okay. Like even if at 18 you chose to, I don't know, major as a doctor, you know. And then by the time you finish your studies, you're like, actually, this is not who I am. I would rather do singing. That's fine. Like
It's
fine.
but the problem is that people have to realize that. Like, for example, my two brothers, they're all doctors. They are learning to be a doctor,
wow.
right?
Yeah.
So, for example, the first one who went through medical school, how do you say that in English? Yeah, medical, right?
Yeah, medical school.
So he missed the first year 3 times. So he had to repass the first year 3 times. And, you know, actually, I admire the fact that he was brave enough to retake it, you know, because at the second time, I'm like, oh, fuck it. I'm going to be a plumber or, you know. But like, so I don't know, maybe I would have that discussion with him, but it felt like he had to retake it because he went in that direction, and there is no other option. You know what I mean?
Like he was scared to choose something else.
And the what
Or
if
maybe he
again?
was,
You know, like what if I'm taking something else and it won't happen as well? You know, so he kept on pushing and pushing and pushing, and so the first year he took it 3 times. Now he's in his 6 years, so now it's almost over. But you know, like there is this pressure of. I choose doctor, so I have to finish it, and it's hard sometimes to to change your career, to change the past.
Exactly. It's
to
hard,
go-
but like I also know so many people who did it and they are happy. They are living their dream life and it's fine. Like you can just
they
I
are.
want to also add like pressure from parents.
Also.
Sometimes parents, they have really high expectations. Like, I want all my generation to be doctors, let's say, in a way. Like, hopefully my mom wasn't like that. When I said I want to be a doctor, she was like, are you sure? But yes, like, I remember, like, I used to have one of my friend, her grandma had this crazy idea of like her kids, everyone will be like a teachers, the first generation. Second generation, her grandchildren will be like, doctors.
Wow.
And like she pressured all her like grandkids like to be a doctor. So when my friend, I asked her like, but what do you really desire, like who you want to be? She was like, I don't know, I never had this idea. Like, I was all my life pressured to be a doctor that I didn't even think about my own future. Like, I don't dream about anything.
I feel like also like there is this kind of I don't deserve this. So people
Actually,
will go and learn something and they will be like, I don't know, a plumber, because they'll be like, but do I really fit into the model world? Like, look at me. Like, I don't deserve this. Like, I don't think I would fit in. I don't think I'm worth it, to go to that path.
I think,
So
it's kind of when you don't feel the
confidence and the...
But even from this parents' pressure, I feel like sometimes, I mean, I hope so mostly it comes out of love. Like your parents try to, put this expectation on you because they want the best for you, right?
Yeah. Or even they may have not had a future like you could have. So now they're going to try their best to push you into that direction. So
Actually, yes, sometimes parents will see their role model in their kids and they want to realize like, my
The
kid,
dreams.
yes, my dream. I never realized that dream. Like,
my kid's turn.
my kid's gonna be like...
You will be a model.
But at the same time, they are also trying to give you the chance to be their role model,
Yeah, but there is like a crazier way of going there, and there is an advice.
Yeah.
Like, if my mom will advise me, she advised me to do that, I would listen.
Yeah.
But it's
I think
your
it's communication
choice.
as well.
Yes.
Like you should, if you really feel that it's not your path, or you just sit and then like actually think about it, is it really like? Then you should just have this conversation properly, because that's what helped me as well. Like my parents never pressured me, but I felt this kind of pressure from other people, and I was like, okay, I will go to university. Which university should I choose? And then I actually never really wanted to. And then one day I sat down with my mom and I told her that, you know what, I really I just don't, I don't feel like I want to do university, and I don't know what I will do. I mean, there are other things that I love. That time it was baking, and she was like, yeah, just do what you love then. Why are you...
But you were strong for making that decision not to go to uni, because I mean, for me, if I wouldn't have went to uni, for example, or do all those degrees and stuff like that, I would be like, but then what would I do? Who would hire me? Like,
but you see, maybe
what's
you
the
really...
plan? You know what I mean?
Maybe it was your path, because it in some way, like, it's...
I make the best out of it. But what I mean is that there is this pressure from society, like you have to go to uni, you have to have that any degrees, because otherwise no one will hire you, because they will always check on your what is your and like there is this pressure, and so people want just to run into those boxes instead of like just realizing their dreams. Like if they want to be a violinist or whatever, a saxophonist.
Come on, life is too short. Like do what you want to do.
But it's easier said than done, right?
Yeah.
So,
but it also depends, I guess, if you're a kid growing up. It depends as well on who. Like a lot, it depends on your parents. Because, for example, you might grow up with parents that didn't have an amazing life and had to really like work their butt off to just feed you. And then you as a child are like, okay, when I grow up, I don't want to be like that. I want to actually be able to give my parents back everything and more. And if I have kids, I don't want to work 5 jobs, So then they go into which job pays the highest. Okay, that pays the highest. I'm going to do that. So they almost, but yeah, of course, it's your own choice. But all these factors kind of kick in. And again, I want to go back to the fact that through life you change. Like how you were thinking as a kid will change. I mean, 1 year ago, I was so different to who I am right now sitting here. So I even tell this to Dante all the time because he'll try to make plans for a year from now. And I'm like, please don't do that. Like, no plans. No plans because I really know how much we change.
Yeah.
And you are putting the pressure on yourself with the plans sometimes.
Yes.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with having goals and working towards those goals, but don't try to overplan things because you change. You change from today in a week. Imagine from today in a year.
Today from tomorrow.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like you change so much as a person.
For example, I always wanted to be a yoga instructor, right? And like 3 years ago already, like I was planning to go to India, to Rishikesh, which is like the base of the yoga. And I was like, oh, that's the best plan. I can learn from the best. And I was so excited to do that. At that moment, I was just spending all my money, all my savings on going to India and do this course. And when I arrived there, I'm still in love with yoga and it's still my goal to be an instructor in the future. But when I was there, I felt like in that moment, I'm just not supposed to be there. And I had this pressure on me that everyone back home is like so proud of me of doing this. And they are, you know, like expecting something from me because I already spent all this money on it. I'm already there. I'm not wasting my time, but like I was there. And after 2 weeks, I just felt like, no, this is not for me.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was only the course, which wasn't for me. But at that time I was like, yeah, but what if I just kind of give up and then everyone will kind of judge me?
Yeah.
And sometimes we have this pressure. Some people have the same pressure with university, like, oh, you already started. Like maybe your brothers have this, I don't know, where is that? Okay, but what if I finish my studies? What if I don't complete it? And I had this fear when I was there in India, like so far from everyone. Everyone is being proud of me, but what if I just give up? And
the fear of not wanting to disappoint the family also, I guess.
And actually what I learned that honestly, I don't care. Like if I'm not happy there, I'm not gonna just pressure myself. Like in the end, I just left that course there. I did another course, which was amazing. And honestly, I don't want to do things only because I have this pressure from people like you have to do it.
You almost give the pressure to yourself, or in a way, it's even like your ego, like, I'm not going to give up. Like, I started this, I'm going to finish it. But it comes from not wanting to disappoint, wanting to look cool maybe, or I don't know, you know.
I mean, goals shouldn't have an expiry date though. Like, I feel like if that's your goal, you can do it in 30 years, whatever. Like, you don't have to do it in one day.
Or sometimes you just have...
giving up, it doesn't mean you're losing.
Yeah.
Like, if you give up, it doesn't mean you're a loser or you're a winner. It's mean like... you just understood this is not for you.
Yeah, exactly.
And even I wouldn't even call it giving up. I would just call it moving on.
Exactly.
Moving on. Let's find a positive word today.
Or just maybe you need another way to do your things. Like
all roads lead to Rome.
or Moscow.
Why not?
And like to give another one, being an adult is realizing that it's super hard. Hard to be an adult in a way that, you know, everything is fairy tale when you're a kid. When you're a kid, it's like the napping time, the feeding time, the change the poop time, you know. It was so easy. Everyone was doing it for you. But when you're adult, like, you're throughout in that jungle.
It's a jungle out here.
You just have to figure out, like, the school of life, basically. I feel like this is what was missing in high school. How to pay bills, how to handle electricity stuff.
Actually,
those silly stuff, like you don't learn at school. How to go through, I don't know, pressure at work, how to go through even like those silly stuff on a day-to-day basis, you know, like being an adult is hard. Like we cannot minimize that. We can make the best out of it, of course, but like, on a day-to-day basis, having to wake up in the morning, having to show up, having to all those stuff that, you know,
smile.
Yeah, like it's emotionally, physically,
but at the same
mentally.
time, I think you also should just not take life too seriously.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's also beautiful. Like you will have the best
is.
moments of your life.
But like, you know, and actually I'm jumping on the fact that I don't know who said like it should not be perfect. Like we had this idea that it's all bubbles and Prince Charming. Like Cinderella, I hate you. What a scam, because like it's not bubble, it's not the Prince Charming will knock and with flowers and life will be perfect and la 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 la, you know. You will have the ups and the downs and the in-betweens. You will face the bills, you will face the all the silly stuff that made life and you have to take it with a pinch of salt, of course, and of course not take it too seriously. But I think it's important, like, for everyone to realize that like it's a journey, honestly, and you have to go through it. And
you're right, life is hard. So try to focus on the things that are good, like the people that you love, the people that love you. Just maybe an afternoon at home where you can relax and don't take that for granted. You know, like there's so many things that I just feel like we take for granted. So really just try and focus on the good things in life
and be grateful.
But guys, tell us your adult realizations. Like being an adult is realizing what for you? We want to know your thoughts. Comment down below. And thank you again for watching another episode. We'll see you in the next one.
See you.
Bye.